Namaste, Mitron. Welcome back to Movie Community College. Mera naam Tish Hay, the Warrior Queen.
Well, hey everybody, welcome to Movie Community College. I am the professor, and I have a video here. Karolina Goswami.
Oh, okay.
The young lady, not a child. She's not a child. She's a young lady.
We've got, some new people popping up on the channel, and somebody popped up in the comments and said, you should react to Karolina Goswami videos, which tells me they're very new around here because we react to her videos regularly.
Yeah,
so I just said, you should go through our channel and find many videos that we have reacted to.
So she's going to be talking about the India China Standoff Chinese media explaining why they're so angry with India.
Oh boy, this ought to be good.
And then I'll tell you what I heard Pompeo say.
Okay.
Who Pompeo is.
Are you ready? I'm ready.
Finally, the Chinese state-run media has explained why China is angry with India. If you are concerned about a tense border situation between India and China, this is a very important development. The Chinese government-backed tabloid claims that the latest standoff was not caused by accident, but was a planned move of New Delhi. It claims that Indian soldiers have intentionally initiated conflicts with their Chinese counterparts, and India has illegally constructed defense facilities across the border into Chinese territory in the Galwan Valley region. The harsh-toned articles goes on to warn that if India failed to stop such provocations as soon as possible, it will impact on Beijing-New Delhi ties and may even exceed the sort of intensity of the Doklam standoff. It even suggests that just because the West is going against China and the Chinese economy has slowed down, it doesn't mean that India can take advantage of China at the border. The author, who is the president of Chengdu Institute of World Affairs, writes that it is America which is isolated by the world and not China. According to him, India was crushed by China in 1962 when the national strength between the two nations was comparable. Now China's GDP is 5 times that of India. So why so much anger against India? And why is it happening now? The answers to those questions can be found if one takes a closer look at the article. It says the more the Chinese nation is exposed to external pressures, the more it will be tightly united. It is well known that sometimes countries start escalating things at the border to divert the attention of their citizens from the domestic problems.
Bingo, Karolina.
So who is doing that? China or India?
I
The
think we
article
know.
also mentions that if India wants border peace, it must reject the Western views of China. This clearly indicates that China is unhappy about how many in India are supporting the Western narrative when it comes to the pandemic.
It's not our narrative, it's the truth.
It can even be said that China is not happy with how India is trying to attract the multinational companies which want to exit China. In a previous article, the state-run media outlet has mentioned that with India's economic rise, bilateral ties between the two emerging Asian powers are growing increasingly complicated. Countries that share a land border with India now have tighter investment rules after India revised its foreign investment on April 19. This move from India did unsettle China. According to that same tabloid, if New Delhi introduces unfriendly policies regarding Chinese investment, the Indian economy may be the ultimate victim. The American president has even offered to help mediate the situation between India and China in relation to the strained situation at the border. In a tweet, he mentioned that he was ready, willing, and able to mediate. No matter what China and its state-run media says, it is difficult to believe that China will be happy if India gets its act together and becomes a global commercial alternative to China.
No question.
After all, the financial health of a nation is directly related to its military muscle. A financially strong India also means a stronger India in terms of its military strength. Why would China want that?
I think we know the answer to that last question. That one was almost rhetorical, Karolina. They don't want that. China does not want that. Everything she said is absolutely correct. I mean, she hit the nail on the head. There's no question that China is trying to marshal its people. I would say citizenry, but citizenry implies that these are people that actually have rights, and they don't. So it's people. It's trying to marshal its people to forget everything else that's going on. It's like, look at this over here. Forget all of the bad things that we've been doing for the past, many months, years, and decades. But just look at this thing. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get their people all in a cohesive, unified mindset, and they're blaming it on the Western narrative. This is not a Western narrative. Facts are facts. India sees it too. I mean, this is not an East versus West thing. This is a truth versus fiction thing. And India sees the truth just like the rest of the world does.
Excuse me.
Excuse you.
I was watching an interview with Mike Pompeo, who is the head of the Secretary of State. Prior to that,
he is the Secretary of State.
Prior to that, he was the head of the CIA. Prior to that, he was in Congress, where he worked in the intelligence community dealing with China.
Yep.
And so when he says something, he is speaking on behalf of the president.
And he knows what he's talking about.
And he said a few things. He said, number one, basically, we're going to make Europe not go along with the 5G Huawei from China because the Chi-Coms will steal everything that they can get their hands on.
Absolutely. That's what they're trying.
And so that was number one. Number two, they've been running scenario war games in the Pacific, and we lose every one to China. And Trump has said that's not going to happen.
Yeah, right.
We need to up our presence. We're going to do something about these man-made islands that artificially extend their borders out more because that's actually international waters.
Yep.
And he is hitting them over Hong Kong because Hong Kong there was a treaty, a 50-year...
It was like a most favored nation
50-year
status.
yes.
Right.
So basically Hong Kong could be independent even though they were being owned by China.
Right.
And in return, all the Chinese companies that were on the U.S. stock exchange didn't have to report any fraud to anybody. So if they got caught doing something like artificially lifting the stock prices, they didn't have to tell people who are buying the stock, this ain't real.
And we would give like a favored trading status to Hong Kong because they were operating independently.
That's
no
right.
longer.
So what I would tell you, and of course we have the border buildup going on in India, what I will tell you, my Indian friends, is this. I will make one phone call to Raj Al Ghul. We will be down there and we will beat them back.
Okay. Okay. Ra's al Ghul is in the comics, so he's not actually a real person.
I would just like to say, Shubham, back me up on this. Have you ever seen me and Raj Al Ghul in the same video? I'm just saying.
Okay. Back to reality, dear. Carolina knows what's up. India
I'm the head
knows
of the
what's
demon.
Up. Okay. India knows what's up. We all know the truth about what's going on with China, why they're doing what they're doing. And their attempts to paint India in a negative light, it's going to fail. It's just flat out going to fail. I am super happy anytime we go to the store and I see made in America, made in Israel, made in India. And the other day we bought some things that previously would have been made in China. Now it says made in Taiwan. Hey, listen, I am happy that we get things out of China as far as American goods that should not be made there, American supply chains. I want it all out of there. And if we can have some things go to India instead, yeah, great.
Let me say this. I've been to Indian restaurants.
Yes, you have.
And they're always friendly.
Yes.
I've been to Chinese restaurants, and they're never friendly.
That's true. We've experienced that.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Because India is better.
Well, the Indian people are very friendly, and I'm not saying that the Chinese people as a whole are not friendly people. They have the unfortunate circumstance of living under a super tyrannical government, and they are watched nonstop and harassed and harangued, and so I feel for their people. I truly do. Are you?
I feel for India.
Well,
What's
I do
up,
too.
India?
Okay. Are we done? Ready to move to the next one?
We're done with this.
Okay. Bye.
Hey, this is Sonal. Please like and subscribe to Movie Community College and do check out my channel, The String Theory, for some amazing sitar videos.